In the time when the world is so fucked up, we don't need a leader like Joe Biden. We need a leader like Donald Trump.
Love for America requires love for all of its people.
Even the white supremacists and the unvaccinated.
When we open our hearts to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice, no place for bigotry, and no tolerance for hate.
Why in the hell Joe Biden don't preach that type of shit? Joe Biden don't preach unity. Joe Biden preach separation.
The young men and women we send to fight our wars abroad deserve to return to a country that is not at war with itself at home.
And not preaching critical race theory, making you believe half the country is racist, and half the military too.
We cannot remain a force for peace in the world if we are not at peace with each other.
Because a divided home can't put up a united fight.
Let us find the courage to heal our divisions within.
Joe Biden said, hell no, we're going to keep cutting at the womb from without. Now that's a message a world leader should have, especially the president of the United States. But instead, we got Joe Biden message. And that message is a motherfucking lie.
My national security team and I have been closely monitoring the situation on the ground in Afghanistan and moving quickly to execute the plans we had put in place to respond to every constituency, including and contingency, including the rapid collapse we're seeing now.
You had a plan for that, and this is your plan A? Well, what the hell was plan B? Or was this plan B? Well, what the hell was plan C? Because A and B did not fucking work. Next! Donald Trump had a plan, and Donald Trump's plan worked.
That there were very specific conditions and very specific warnings that you gave personally to the Taliban. Joe Biden is trying to blame you.
When have Joe Biden haven't blamed Donald Trump for anything? I would be surprised if Joe Biden didn't accuse Donald Trump of starting Hunter Biden crack habit. Next!
When I came into office, I inherited a deal that President Trump negotiated with the Taliban.
What deal? Donald Trump didn't have no deal with no damn terrorists or no damn Taliban. He had a condition-based agreement, not a motherfucking deal. The condition was Taliban and Afghanistan get their shit together.
And we had a conditions-based agreement.
And the shit was working. It was called Operation Put Pressure on the motherfuckers. Or Operation Apply Pressure. I know it was something had to do with pressure.
We had a great deal. We worked on it very hard. Mike Pompeo, a brilliant guy, and many others worked on it endlessly.
And I bet that conversation went one way. Donald Trump talking and the fucking Taliban listening.
Meetings with the Taliban. Of course you have to meet with the Taliban. They're the ones that you're negotiating with. I spoke on numerous occasions to the head of the Taliban, and we had a very strong conversation.
Oh, Donald Trump, I bet you tell that to all the countries.
I told them up front, I said, look, before we start, let me just tell you right now that if anything bad happens to Americans or anybody else, or if you ever come over to our land, we will hit you with a force that no country has ever been hit with before.
If you fuck with us, we're not going to let you know when. Oh, but it's going to happen. But I forgot. Afghanistan ain't Joe Biden plan, it's Donald Trump plan.
I will not say when we are going to attack, but attack we will.
Under his agreement, U.S. forces would be out of Afghanistan by May 1, 2021, just a little over 3 months after I took office.
Damn his agreement. What about your agreement? Can't you make your own agreement? You've been making your own agreement with every damn thing else.
Now, I have to tell you that if you remember when they were coming to Washington to meet with me, they decided to kill an American soldier because they thought that was a good way to negotiate. And I canceled the trip.
Because that wasn't part of the condition. Next! Joe Biden, what's your condition?
U.S. forces had already drawn down during the Trump administration from roughly 15,500 American forces to 2,500 troops in country.
So what in the fuck do that mean?
And I have to tell you also that we lost no soldiers in the last year and a half because of me and because of the understanding that we had.
Zero casualties. So how in the hell we was at war with no casualties? But if you let Joe Biden tell it, we at war.
The choice I had to make as your president was either to follow through on that agreement or be prepared to go back to fighting the Taliban in the middle of the spring fighting season.
So that was the best choice you can make off of Donald Trump plan with Afghanistan. Well, Donald Trump had a different plan. I don't know where the hell you got that plan from.
But to prosecute this war, we will learn from history. As a result of our comprehensive review, American strategy in Afghanistan and South Asia will change dramatically in the following ways.
Wait a minute, Donald Trump. You mean to tell me you changed your strategy, but Joe Biden couldn't change his? Ain't that a bitch? Next!
There would have been no ceasefire after May 1. There was no agreement protecting our forces after May 1. There was no status quo of stability without American casualties after May 1.
Well, you couldn't talk to the Taliban and to the Afghanistan and come up with your own damn plan and not Donald Trump's? Next!
A core pillar of our new strategy is a shift from a time-based approach to one based on conditions.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me your deal is based on conditions and not a damn date like Joe Biden's?
There was only a cold reality of either following through on the agreement to withdraw our forces or escalating the conflict and sending thousands more American troops back into combat in Afghanistan.
Wait a minute, Joe Biden. Ain't that what the fuck you just done? You took 2,500 troops out of Afghanistan, the one Donald Trump left, and sent 6,000 more. Ain't that what the fuck you just done? Next!
I've said it many times how counterproductive it is for the United States to announce in advance the dates we intend to begin or end military options.
What plan Joe Biden was listening to? Joe Biden said you had a date. It seemed to me you had a condition.
I stand squarely behind my decision. After 20 years, I've learned the hard way that there was never a good time to withdraw U.S. forces.
Well, if you learn anything from Donald Trump playing with Afghanistan, you would have learned about a damn date and numbers of troops.
We will not talk about numbers of troops or our plans for further military activities.
Because that would be stupid. But stupid is as stupid does.
That's why we're still there. We were clear-eyed about the risks. We planned for every contingency, but I always promised the American people that I would be straight with you.
And when in the hell is you going to start doing that? Because if you would have listened to Donald Trump plan, we still would have probably had 2,500 troops or less in Afghanistan, not 7,000.
Conditions on the ground, not arbitrary timetables, will guide our strategy from now on.
Well, Joe Biden said your plan consists of a date, not a damn condition. Somebody lying, and it has to be Joe Biden.
From now on, victory will have a clear definition. Attacking our enemies, obliterating ISIS, crushing al-Qaeda, preventing the Taliban from taking over Afghanistan, and stopping mass terror attacks against America before they emerge.
Well, it's too late for that. Joe Biden went with a date, and look what the fuck happened. The Taliban has took over Afghanistan.
The truth is, this did unfold more quickly than we had anticipated.
But you and all your motherfucking experts knew exactly what could have happened. Yeah, fucking right.
America's enemies must never know our plans or believe they can wait us out.
And that's exactly what the Taliban done. They say Joe Biden got a clock. Well, hell, they got the time.
I will not say when we are going to attack, but attack we will.
Joe Biden ain't about attacking. Joe Biden is about retreating and then rescinding and blaming everybody else for his fuck up.
So what's happened? Afghanistan political leaders gave up and fled the country. The Afghan military collapsed, sometime without trying to fight.
Well, you should have knew that shit was coming. Donald Trump would have.
That is why, shortly after my inauguration, I directed Secretary of Defense Mattis and my national security team to undertake a comprehensive review of all strategic options in Afghanistan and South Asia,
including one that the country can be taken over in a fucking week.
My original instinct was to pull out, and historically, I like following my instincts.
Evidently, Joe Biden like following your instincts too, at least the ones when it's a fuck up as a result.
But all my life, I've heard that decisions are much different when you sit behind the desk in the Oval Office. In other words, when you're president of the United States.
Something Joe Biden should never fucking be.
So I studied Afghanistan in great detail and from every conceivable angle. After many meetings over many months,
and probably many threats to Afghanistan, if you fuck with the United States, we will blow you the fuck up. Joe Biden didn't follow that plan either.
We spent over $1 trillion.
And Joe Biden is too busy talking about how bad it was for us fucking with Afghanistan for all these years.
We trained and equipped an Afghan military force of some 300,000 strong, incredibly well equipped.
Well, now that equipped belong to the fucking Taliban.
We gave them every tool they could need.
Now the tools belong to the Taliban, the tools and the exercise machines in the embassy. So the Taliban gonna get exercise machines.
What is going on here? What's that one guy doing with the leg curl machine? He's using his arms. Is that Tantra? What you're watching here is a colossal embarrassment, a rout over which we can and should continue to kick the Biden administration and our woke military leadership in their gender fluid groins.
So the Taliban finna come out with a Taliban workout regimen.
We paid their salaries.
So if you paid their salaries and fucking left and they not getting paid, what the fuck do you expect them to do?
Provided for the maintenance of their Air Force. Something the Taliban doesn't have. Taliban does not have an Air Force.
Well, Afghanistan ain't got no maintenance workers to work on the airplanes either. So how that work out?
We gave them every chance to determine their own future.
Them determining their future, what about determining our future? Because they can come over here and blow some shit up with a damn bomb.
We could not provide them was the will to fight for that future.
Damn fighting for their future, what about defending ours?
But if Afghanistan is unable to mount any real resistance to the Taliban now, there is no chance that 1 year, 1 more year, 5 more years, or 20 more years of U.S. military boots on the ground would have made any difference.
And there is a hell of a chance 5 years from now, 10 years from now, hell, maybe next month, that the Taliban is going to come over here and blow some shit up with a bomb. But the difference between Donald Trump inheriting a fucked up situation and Joe Biden inheriting a fucked up situation is Donald Trump fucking adapts.
No one denies that we have inherited a challenging and troubling situation in Afghanistan and South Asia, but we do not have the luxury of going back in time and making different or better decisions. When I became president, I was given a bad and very complex hand.
But you played with the fucking cards you was dealt with.
But I fully knew what I was getting into. Big and intricate problems.
And when you have big and intricate problems, you need big and intricate ideas, not following someone else's fucking ideas, which was your idea the whole damn time, because Donald Trump then changed his idea. And speaking of problems, we didn't have none of these problems with Donald Trump was in the White House, all of these problems.
But one way or another, these problems will be solved. I'm a problem solver.
not a fucking problem maker.
Working alongside our allies, we will break their will, dry up their recruitment, keep them from crossing our borders, and yes, we will defeat them, and we will defeat them handily.
Wait a minute, Donald Trump, is you talking about allies? Joe Biden don't give a fuck about no allies. He didn't even warn the allies he was pulling out. And he ain't called no allies and let them know shit since. Joe Biden don't fuck with no allies, but he quick to talk about them. Next!
Here's what I believe to my core. It is wrong to order American troops to step up when Afghanistan's own armed forces would not.
Joe Biden say our Afghani allies are cowards.
The political leaders of Afghanistan were unable to come together for the good of their people.
Joe Biden say the political leaders of Afghanistan is bitches.
Someday, after an effective military effort, perhaps it will be possible to have a political settlement that includes elements of the Taliban in Afghanistan.
But Donald Trump said that Afghanistan and the Taliban need to come together and get that shit worked out, because Donald Trump wanted the Taliban and the Afghanistan to work together.
But nobody knows if or when that will ever happen.
But Donald Trump also knew that shit probably was impossible. Next! But all Joe Biden said about Afghanistan is they're a bunch of hoes.
Unable to negotiate for the future of their country when the chips were down.
Damn, Joe Biden, that's how you talk about our allies? You know Taiwan is listening, right?
America will continue its support for the Afghan government and the Afghan military as they confront the Taliban in the field.
In the field? Wait a minute. Joe Biden say we was confronting the Taliban in the field. Joe Biden say the Afghanistan's military wasn't doing shit. Joe Biden said the Afghanistan military wasn't doing shit.
They would never have done so while U.S. troops remained in Afghanistan, bearing the brunt of the fighting for them.
Joe Biden said the American troops was the ones in the field. The Afghanistan military was kicking back and wasn't doing shit. They was playing hopscotch and double dutch hot hands because they damn sure ain't got no game system. They wasn't playing Call of Duty.
Ultimately, it is up to the people of Afghanistan to take ownership of their future, to govern their society, and to achieve an everlasting peace. We are a partner and a friend, but we will not dictate to the Afghan people how to live or how to govern their own complex society. We are not nation building again. We are killing terrorists.
Whoa, that must have been on the deleted part of Donald Trump plans, because Joe Biden's show didn't get that message.
We talked about how Afghanistan should prepare to fight their civil wars after the U.S. military departed.
Joe Biden said after we pull out of Afghanistan, y'all motherfuckers on your own. You don't get no intelligence, no maintenance workers, no information, no money, and no air support. You motherfuckers are on your own. Fight the Taliban with that. Was the Afghanistan military really soldiers, or was they missionaries?
The fact is, they're among the highest paid soldiers in the world. They were doing it for a paycheck because once we left, they stopped fighting. So all of the people that talk about the bravery and everything, I say everybody's brave. But the fact is, our country was paying the Afghan soldiers a fortune. So we were sort of bribing them to fight.
And bribing them to fucking die. They was dying, not us. We all knew the United States military was just using the Afghanistan army to kill terrorists, but Joe Biden act like we was over there fighting a fucking war. Next! But Joe Biden say the Afghanistan military had a responsibility
to clean up the corruption in government so the government could function for the Afghan people.
Well, now the government is functioning for the Taliban people. The Afghanistan people are trying to hop on fucking planes to get the hell up out of there.
We talked extensively about the need for Afghan leaders to unite politically.
We talked. You had a lot of motherfucking talks for you not to know what the hell was about to happen.
They failed to do any of that.
So you didn't have a plan in place just in case they didn't do any of that. Next! You are a fucking liar.
I also urge them to engage in diplomacy, to seek a political settlement with the Taliban. This advice was flatly refused.
And so was the advice your so-called experts gave your ass, that the Taliban is going to take this motherfucking country over in a week, and you ignored it. So how in the fuck is the skillet going to call the pot black, or the pot going to call the skillet black, or vice versa, or the same, or one of them?
Mr. Ghani insisted the Afghan forces would fight, but obviously he was wrong.
And obviously your ass shouldn't have trusted them, or else your ass should have had a plan in place in case this promise didn't come true. But you didn't. Talking about the president of Afghanistan, or whoever the fuck he is, was wrong. Well, your ass was wrong too, because your ass was lying on the Afghanistan military.
In this struggle, the heaviest burden will continue to be borne by the good people of Afghanistan and their courageous armed forces.
That means the Afghanistan military is going to take most of the casualties. But according to Joe Biden, we sending our kids over there to fucking die.
Would you have me send to fight Afghanistan's civil war when Afghan troops will not?
How fucking disrespectful Joe Biden is to Afghanistan troops. Who else gonna fight with us or for us if we treat them like this? But I guess the prime minister or the president of Afghanistan or whoever the fuck he is promised Joe Biden something different than he promised Donald Trump.
As the Prime Minister of Afghanistan has promised, we are going to participate in economic development to help defray the cost of this war to us. Afghanistan is fighting to defend and secure their country against the same enemies who threaten us.
So enemy of the Taliban is a friend of ours, and we willing to pay them motherfuckers to go over there and fight them, while we don't do shit but give them intelligence, weapons, and money, and saving American lives at the same time.
How many more lives, American lives, is it worth?
It wasn't Americans that was losing their lives in this damn civil war that you call it a civil war, because it wasn't our civil war to begin with. That's understood. Everybody fucking know that, including Donald Trump.
The stronger the Afghan security forces become, the less we will have to do.
And the less casualties we have to take. Joe Biden didn't understand that part of the fucking pullout.
I will not repeat the mistakes we've made in the past.
You damn right, because you're going to make your own fucking mistakes in the present, and damn sure going to make them in the future. That's why they need to get your ass out of the White House quick, fast, and in a hurry, because it wasn't our civil war to begin with. That's understood. Everybody fucking know that, including Donald Trump.
The stronger the Afghan security forces become, the less we will have to do.
And the less casualties we have to take. Joe Biden didn't understand that part of the fucking pullout.
Afghans will secure and build their own nation and define their own future. We want them to succeed, but we will no longer use American military might to construct democracies in faraway lands or try to rebuild other countries in our own image. Those days are now over.
But the days of protecting the country from blowing the motherfucker up should still remain. Next!
Mistake of staying and fighting indefinitely in a conflict that is not in the national interest of the United States.
But it sure in the hell was in the public safety interest of the United States.
I also want to acknowledge how painful this is to so many of us. The scenes we're seeing in Afghanistan, they're gut-wrenching.
It's gut-wrenching, and it's also your fucking fault. Don't leave that out.
I've worked on these issues as long as anyone.
If you worked on these issues so fucking long, why you still don't know shit? And why in the hell is you still following the plan of Donald Trump's, when your ass should have 50 more years experience in foreign affairs than Donald Trump?
So I studied Afghanistan in great detail and from every conceivable angle.
Where in 50 years, Joe Biden should have knew the Taliban inside and fucking out.
After many meetings over many months, we held our final meeting last Friday at Camp David with my cabinet and generals to complete our strategy.
A strategy based on terms and conditions, not dates and times.
The men and women who serve our nation in combat deserve a plan for victory. They deserve the tools they need and the trust they have earned to fight and to win.
Well, it don't look like we won now. We got the Taliban circling Afghanistan, beating the shit out of citizens. Americans can't get out, and the Taliban and the embassy and the goddamn president house of Afghanistan. So that shit ain't working under Joe Biden. Because to the world right now, America look like fucking losers.
I met with the people. I spoken to the leaders. I spent time with our troops. And I came to understand firsthand what was and was not possible in Afghanistan.
So why in the hell your ass didn't come up with a better plan, Joe Biden? If you followed Donald Trump's plan, you should have also understood Donald Trump's studies.
I arrived at three fundamental conclusions about America's core interests in Afghanistan. First, our nation must seek an honorable and enduring outcome worthy of the tremendous sacrifices that have been made.
That means the war can't be over unless America fucking wins. How disrespectful it would be to the soldiers that lost their life and part of their body if we didn't. If we fucking gave up and quit and looked like losers to the world.
I've been clear, the human rights must be the center of our foreign policy, not the periphery.
Joe Biden, you ain't fought for human rights nowhere in the fucking world. Ask the Uyghurs in China. You said DJ Ping can do what the fuck he do. You don't give a damn. And now you're here talking about some damn human rights in Afghanistan's a liar.
I was asked to authorize, and I did, 6,000 U.S. troops to deploy to Afghanistan for the purpose of assisting in the departure of U.S. and allied civilian personnel from Afghanistan.
Assistant my ass. You sent them for covering up your ass. Stop lying, Joe. Next! Donald Trump didn't have that problem because Donald Trump knew how to fucking problem solve, not problem create.
Second, the consequences of a rapid exit are both predictable and unacceptable.
What part of Donald Trump plan did Joe Biden stop listening to? Because Joe Biden show didn't hear this fucking part or follow this part of the plan, because if he did, we wouldn't be in the shit we in right now.
9/11, the worst terrorist attack in our history, was planned and directed from Afghanistan.
Well, my baby mama assassination will be planned and directed out of my Cash App. Tell your wife, Susan Boyd, that your donation will not have no paper trail going back to my hitman. It's safe. Besides me, you, and the people that's on here watching this video, don't nobody know that you are helping with a hit.
Because that country was ruled by a government that gave comfort and shelter to terrorists.
Well, not no more. The Taliban said they turning over a new leaf. They're going to give women jobs. They're not going to beat the shit out of people. They're going to let people practice Christianity. They're going to let women walk around with Daisy Dukes on and twerk. And they're going to let gay men have gay sex. Next! Joe Biden got allies trapped in fucking Afghanistan. Thanks, Joe Biden.
And to evacuate our Afghan allies and vulnerable Afghans to safety outside of Afghanistan.
And how is that working out, Joe Biden?
I looked at that big monster cargo plane yesterday with people grabbing the side and trying to get flown out of Afghanistan because of their fear, their incredible fear, and they're blowing off the plane from 2,000 feet up in the air.
Because Joe Biden said the Afghanistan military wasn't doing nothing for the Afghanistan people, so maybe that was payback. And speaking of human rights, Joe Biden, I didn't see no women hopping on them damn planes. I wonder where the women at. Next! Joe Biden plan don't mimic Donald Trump's none. So stop lying on Donald Trump.
A hasty withdrawal would create a vacuum that terrorists, including ISIS and Al-Qaeda, would instantly fill, just as happened before September 11th.
And that vacuum bag is full, and it's about to be emptied.
And as we know, in 2011, America hastily and mistakenly withdrew from Iraq. As a result, our hard-won gains slipped back into the hands of terrorist enemies.
Wait a minute, wasn't Joe Biden in the administration then? So that means 2 times America pulled out of some shit too soon. Joe Biden has some shit to do with it. Ain't that a bitch? Next!
We have safely shut down our embassy.
And the Taliban has safely reopened the motherfucker.
Our soldiers watched as cities they had fought for and bled to liberate and won were occupied by a terrorist group called ISIS.
And now the embassy is being occupied by a terrorist group called the Taliban.
The vacuum we created by leaving too soon gave safe haven for ISIS to spread, to grow, recruit, and launch attacks.
And thanks to Joe Biden, more is soon to come. Because I just know a couple of them Taliban motherfuckers is going to dress up like some MS-13s, pretend like they're some immigrants, get caught, come over here and work, become a pilot, and then drive another plane into the fucking Staples Center. Next! Keep them motherfuckers out.
We cannot repeat in Afghanistan the mistake our leaders made in Iraq.
Well, it seems like to me Joe Biden is 0-2 when it comes to pullout. I wish I was 0-1 when it came to my pullout. Speaking of pullout, when is Joe Biden is going to get Americans the hell out of Afghanistan?
We have 40,000 potential hostages, a minimum of 11,000, but it could be as many as 40.
Trapped behind enemy lines, trying to get to the airport, and Joe Biden say, get there how you fucking can. And good luck dealing with the fucking Taliban.
Over the coming days, we intend to transport out thousands of American citizens who've been living and working in Afghanistan.
What you should have done before you pulled the troops out in the first fucking place and had to bring more troops back in to guard a fucking airport that ain't worth shit. And now the Taliban is surrounding, beating the shit out of people trying to come in.
But we have the military there, and we take the military out before we took our civilians out.
So wait a minute, Donald Trump. Taking out the military early wasn't part of your plan? Joe Biden lying on you.
But by the way, I'm America first, okay? The Americans come out first.
Well, not under Joe Biden. The Americans come out last, if they come out at all.
We must address the reality of the world as it exists right now, the threats we face, and the confronting of all of the problems of today, and extremely predictable consequences of a hasty withdrawal.
Somebody should have sent Joe Biden this part of Donald Trump's speech. I don't know where in the hell Joe Biden get the plan he got from Donald Trump. They should have sent his ass this video.
I know there are concerns about why we did not begin evacuating Afghan civilians sooner.
Concerns and a lot of damn questions with them concerns.
Part of the answer is some of the Afghans did not want to leave earlier.
Especially the ones that was holding on to the fucking plane. They really didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay so fucking bad, they hopped on the plane, dropped and splattered on the fucking ground so they'd forever be in Afghanistan. Why in the hell would somebody want to stay in Afghanistan when they know they feel to fucking die? They'd rather hop on a plane, literally.
Part of it because the Afghan government and its supporters discouraged us from organizing a mass exodus to avoid triggering, as they said, a crisis of confidence.
Joe Biden, that don't even fucking make sense. You try to use a big ass 2 words to try to confuse people, that even make fucking sense. Triggering a crisis, a conflict, Joe Biden, only your ass can use words like that. Next! You know, the Taliban got some newfound confidence. You know why? Because they got some newfound weapons.
We have billions and billions of dollars worth of new Black Hawk helicopters, brand new, that Russia now will be examining, and so will China, and so will everybody else to figure it because it's the greatest in the world.
And now China gonna make them and duplicate them and sell them as the cheapest in the fucking world. Joe Biden, China, Russia, and the Taliban, thank you for the technology.
As we carry out this departure, we have made it clear to the Taliban, if they attack our personnel or disrupt our operation, The U.S. presence will be swift, and the response will be swift and forceful.
Joe Biden is warning the Taliban, don't attack us with our own damn weapons. Let's see how the Taliban take his threats.
The events we're seeing now are sadly proof that no amount of military force would ever deliver a stable, united, secure Afghanistan, as known in history as the graveyard of empires.
Well, that's why we was paying the Afghanistan military to take them motherfuckers out, so it wouldn't be a graveyard of Americans.
I'm now the fourth American president to preside over war in Afghanistan. 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. I will not pass this responsibility on to a 5th president.
You're going to pass on a different responsibility. You probably pass on a fucking war. If Joe Biden would have really listened to Donald Trump's plan, we wouldn't be in this situation.
I have already lifted restrictions the previous administration placed on our warfighters that prevented the Secretary of Defense and our commanders in the field from fully and swiftly waging battle against the enemy.
Wait a minute, you mean to tell me Joe Biden restricted us from attacking Afghanistan, and now he done gave these motherfuckers weapons to attack us? Joe Biden need to get his ass up out the White House.
I am President of the United States of America, and the buck stops with me.
Yeah, get the impeachment trial fucking ready.
Micromanagement from Washington, D.C. does not win battles. They are won in the field, drawing upon the judgment and expertise of wartime commanders and frontline soldiers.
Well, they warned Joe Biden, and Joe Biden didn't listen to them. Joe Biden came up with his own damn plan, but Joe Biden was warned. Believe that. Google it. Joe Biden blamed Donald Trump, the Afghanistan military, and the Afghanistan government. He blamed everybody, but now he want to take responsibility after he done blamed every fucking body.
But I do not regret my decision to end America's war fighting in Afghanistan.
Oh, you gonna regret it when your ass is impeached. Yes, because you made us look bad in front of our allies, where Donald Trump made us look good. Even though fake news and the Democrats and all the liberals say Donald Trump made us look bad.
Instead, we will work with allies and partners to protect our shared interests. We are not asking others to change their way of life, but to pursue common goals that allow our children to live better and safer lives.
And maybe our kids can play on bumper cars like the terrorist kids.
Taliban in bumper cars, holding grenade launchers. Let's be real for a minute. This is objectively funny. This video is so comedic. You wonder if the Taliban is in on it. Is this unintentional comedy like Joe Biden, or are they self-aware? Who knew? The Taliban. Better sense of humor than Trevor Noah. And by the way, the Taliban, while we're talking about them, they can't stop celebrating in the end zone.
And not be worried about when the next 9/11 is gonna fucking happen.
I will not mislead the American people by claiming that just a little more time in Afghanistan will make all the difference.
No, but some continuous intelligence will make all the difference. All the difference of them not coming over here trying to blow shit up.
This principled realism will guide our decisions moving forward. Military power alone will not bring peace to Afghanistan or stop the terrorist threat arising in that country. But strategically applied force aims to create the conditions for a political process to achieve a lasting peace.
And not a threat of a fucking terrorist attack. But Joe Biden say he take full responsibility.
Nor will I shrink from my share of responsibility for where we are today.
Well, don't shrink from your share of responsibilities of the shit that's going to happen tomorrow when Americans can't make it to the airport because of the Taliban beating the shit, killing and murdering them. Next! Take all the responsibility. Keep that energy.
However, our commitment is not unlimited, and our support is not a blank check. The government of Afghanistan must carry their share of the military, political, and economic burden. The American people expect to see real reforms, real progress, and real results.
Because if we don't see no results, we not fucking leaving. Because it's about protecting America. not protecting Afghanistan.
America will work with the Afghan government as long as we see determination and progress.
And as long as we ain't got to be out there in the field getting Americans killed by terrorists. Donald Trump went with progress, not a damn date.
Again, the words are conditions, plural, conditions based. It was an agreement where actually we wanted to get out by May 1st, and they violated the agreement, so we didn't. It's a great agreement from a lot of different standpoints. And frankly, Biden didn't have to even go by that agreement.
Joe Biden could have came up with his own shit. If he didn't like the way Donald Trump plan was going, he could have came up with his own date, his own strategy, and his own damn plan with Afghanistan.
I know my decision will be criticized, but I would rather take all that criticism than pass this decision on to another president of the United States, yet another one, a fifth one.
Well, if the Taliban fuck around and have it their way, nigga, you just passed it on to four more presidents.
Our patience is not unlimited. We will keep our eyes wide open. In abiding by the oath I took on January 20th, I will remain steadfast in protecting American lives and American interests.
Well, Joe Biden must have took a different oath than you. So if American lives is lost over in Afghanistan, Joe Biden is responsible, because I think y'all supposed to have took the same oath of protecting American lives. And guess what? He didn't do it.
Not far from where we are gathered tonight, hundreds of thousands of America's greatest patriots lay in eternal rest at Arlington National Cemetery.
Are probably the greatest place on earth.
There is more courage, sacrifice, and love in those hallowed grounds than in any other spot on the face of the earth. Many of those who have fought and died in Afghanistan enlisted in the months after September 11th, 2001. They volunteered for a simple reason. They loved America, and they were determined to protect her.
And they would be rolling over in their grave right now if they knew what the fuck Joe Biden done.
With our resolve, we will ensure that your service and that your families will bring about the defeat of our enemies and the arrival of peace.
And not the arrival of fucking more terrorists.
You need a president that's respected. I've never realized how important, frankly, and it's a horrible thing to say, how important
A president is a president that takes responsibilities for his action and not fucking run from questions like a coward.
Thank you. May God protect our troops, our diplomats, and all brave Americans serving in harm's way.